welcome back. Rowdy Gaming Grandpa here with a tutorial video on how to properly register your squad. Now, as soon as January 1st hits, there's a few things that you should be doing constantly. Number one, and one of the most important ones, is to find you an affiliate club. The board's going to say, no, we don't need it, blah, blah, blah. We have the B team, we have the academy, we don't need it. Keep bugging them, keep bugging them. You need to get that. That's very important. I'll get into that in just a bit. I did manage to get a senior affiliate, which is Man United. I get the loan players from them that are available for loan. There was like 5 of them. I did get one. I'll cover that in just a sec too. But that's one thing that you need to constantly check. Another thing that you need to constantly check is as soon as you get a player that joins your club, you need to come in here and you need to see how it impacts your squad. Okay, hit auto select, go through, make sure you have all your players that you want registered, and make sure you have all green. If not, then you're going to have to figure something else out, and we'll get into that in just a bit too. All right, now one thing that I wanted to touch base with, we're going to go ahead and hit transfers. This kid and this kid are going to take up international player slots, and I'm going to cover that here in just a second. That's really important. Here's a kid that I am sending to North Carolina, my affiliate, and I hope he'll take it. They do have the option to deny it if they want. It's up to them, but you can send them to your affiliate. Now, when you do that, make sure that you get this off this. I'll show you. It'd just be easier to show you. Where's it at? I want to find a young player, Daniel Santana. Okay, this kid. All right, I'm going to, where's it at? Development, move to affiliate. You're going to get this here. Okay, he's a prospect on the verge of a first team place. No, I'm not going to send you down there. You might as well stay here with me and train better. Okay, if it's starter or above, by all means, go ahead and send them down. Let them get that extra play time and let them develop better. Now, one thing that I wanted to show you on why I picked North Carolina, they come back with 5 of them that I was able to get, I guess. The reason I picked North Carolina is they were professional, number one. Okay. Number two, they had the best training facilities out of all the 5 choices that I had for affiliate club. Okay, don't let that detour you from getting one. If you only have 1 or 2 choices, pick the best one that you can. All right, but they have average training facilities, which was the highest out of the 5. All right, so that's why I picked North Carolina, and I am going to utilize them, and I'm probably going to end up sending 3 or 4 players at least down to them. Okay, now let's talk about the development center just a second here. Okay, if you notice, I have 3 kids on on loan. I signed them from here, and they requested to have them back. It's very important to sign your 17-year-olds before they drop off. Now, there are some 18-year-olds in here, and they'll be dropping off pretty soon, but I don't want them. To me, they can drop all they want. I don't care. All right, but I have some 16-year-olds, these 3 in particular, that I'm going to be signing when they turn 17, and I'm going to end up sending them either back to the academy, or I'm going to send them out on loan somewhere because they're not going to get much playing time yet. But there are exceptions to that. But keep that in mind. Now, this one here, your B team, you can send players up and down all throughout the year until the roster freeze date, which is right before the MLS Cup playoffs. Okay, and they don't have a choice. It's your reserve team, your B team, whatever you want to call it. But the good thing about this, and the academy teams are at this year in the MLS. It started last year technically, but this year they have actual leagues. There's good competition. Every team has a B team and an academy team in the MLS, and they get to play each other, and it's a really good thing. So they're going to get some really good play time. It's not like, in the MLS before where they just have friendlies. All right, this is competition for them. It's really good. Now, another thing I want to talk about, you'll notice in the contract types, I do have 2, 3, 4 players that I gave big boy contracts to. All right, that's because he had one. He was already on the team. I couldn't control that. I would have never given him one. I'm actually going to try to sell him. But one thing you have to keep in mind is that if you sell the players from the B team, you're not going to get this high-end number. You're going to get the low-end number. That's just how it is. This kid here, I have offered him a contract. I'm going to be bringing him up. He's going to get some play time for me because I'm going to try to get the most I can out of him when I sell him. All right, that's another thing to keep in mind is when you bring these players up and then you try to sell them from the main team, they're going to get more money that way, or you'll get more money. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, here's the other thing. Your players you sign from drafts, your youth academy players, this is what the B team is for, is to take them players and let them develop down here that they would never get the play time they need in the main team to develop properly. All right, so anybody that's 23 and older that I'm not going to use. This kid I'm probably going to use. I don't know yet, but DeRossi, Diaz, Hybert, Creek, these guys are going to be gone. I'm going to sell them. I'm not going to offer them a big contract to do so. There's no reason for that. I will tell you right now, I'll be lucky to get $100,000 for each of them. But it's money that I get into the coffers, and not only that, but it adds some of it back to my allocation money. So that's a good thing. But the other players like Dita, he could develop into a really good player for me. So I have no problem bringing him up, and I will. All right. Now, another thing I'm going to talk about before we register. Boom. My email automatically pops me down to here because today is March 4th. It's registration day. Injured players. A lot of people think that, oh my God, this is a game-ending bug. I can't continue my save. I'm done with the MLS because I can't register injured players. You're never going to be able to register injured players. That's the MLS. That's the agreement they have with the players union. You can't register injured players. They're not going to play. So until they're not injured, then you're not going to be able to register them. Okay? Don't worry. Register players. When you register your team, any player that's injured, you're not going to get waived. However, once this pops up, he's no longer injured. If you don't waive him, and it will tell you right here, after today, if I don't register him, he will get waived because he's no longer injured. All right? So keep that in mind. That is not a game-ending bug. It is part of the MLS. All right? Now, another thing I want to talk about. As long as you see green arrows, you're good. All right? Salary cap. The salary cap is an important process to know. All right, I'm going to bring up my salary. Another thing you want to do, you want to make sure that you add this cap impact on your squad screen. It tells you the impact of it. One thing I wanted you to know is that sometimes your cap impact is greater than what their salaries are. Here's a prime example. You're thinking, why is his impact so high? This year it is because he had agent fees. He had other kind of fees when I did the transfer offer that were associated with that. And that doesn't come out of your transfer kitty. It comes out of your cap because he's a senior player. All right, and he has a senior contract. Now, some of these players, like I did sign a couple young kids that were on youth contracts overseas that are going to be on supplemental contracts, and then that doesn't affect the cap and it will never be higher. So that's a cool thing. All right, it just comes out of my budget and my transfer budget. All right, but keep that in mind when you sign players. Sometimes the cap hit is a lot larger than what you think it should be. That's the nature of the beast. And the MLS, you can't help it. Now, next year his cap will only be 153 because that's his salary, unless I give him a new contract, which that's one way to get around them stupid minimum fee salaries, release clauses. Is every year offer him a new contract and let him increase that bad boy, and you'll be good to go. Every now and then you can get away with not adding it and give them more money and they're happy. Okay, but keep that in mind when your players that you're signing from overseas, you are going to have a larger impact than your salary. This kid here, his is, it's funny. But anyway, that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, to buy down a player's salary, and I can't do this guy. Where's he at? Barrios. Okay. You want to go to contract and buy down salary cap impact. If that's not a selected option, that means that you've already A, you bought it down, or B, you're not allowed to reduce his salary any further. Okay. And here's another thing about this. Once I buy this down, like say I only go to here and I hit confirm, I won't be able to buy him down any further. So you need to know how much you want to buy their salary down before you do this, okay? But in this case, I can buy it down all the way to $76,500. It does take quite a bit. It's $1 per dollar. So $1 that I'm reducing is $1 out of my allocation money, all right? But that's what it's for. There are other things that it's for, but see my previous videos on that. Now, I'm not going to do this because I have plenty of space. So I'm going to cancel. And one thing I wanted to show you is that this guy and this guy are foreign players, and they're going to take up international player slots. This dude's actually on a DP contract. I want you to check this out. All right. I have currently 4 DP contracts. I don't have any available slots, and he's going to be the number 5. So you're like, what the heck? How is that possible? Also, my international player slots, I have 13 available, and I have 12 already at the clubs, and I have 2 more coming in. You're thinking, what the heck? How is this going to happen? All right, well, I got answers for you. Trades. All right, they want Stroud. I didn't want to get rid of him. I really didn't, because he could play anywhere in the midfield and anywhere in attacking. He's an all-around good player, but he is declining. He's 26. He's not going to get any better. And, I mean, yes, he's on a supplemental contract, so it's not really killing me on my salary cap or anything like that. But I have my kids from the draft, super draft that I signed, that I want to get them some play time, and he's just going to take up play time over them. So I could send him down, which is what I was going to do, to the B team, but I got an offer for him. So I don't give a darn about the 3rd round pick. I want the international slot, and I don't have to go out and buy it. So I'm going to accept this offer, and I can tell you now that if anytime a team comes in for a bid like this, if you try to change the offer, and you can, if I try to make this 2 years, they're going to deny it, withdraw it, reject it. They don't want it. Okay, so just keep that in mind, that when bids come in like that, unless it's for like a top player, then chances are you're not going to be able to get much more out of them. All right, now here's the thing. That's the max amount that they're going to offer. If you notice, it's because the max that I can possibly get is $950, but we are at registration deadline. If this offer would have come in a month ago, I probably would have been able to get more money out of them. You know, and what I mean by money is maybe an international player slot for 2 years. All right, everything in the MLS is an asset, and it all has a predetermined value. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and accept that. So that takes care of 1 more slot, and then I am going to be doing some trades. And it's under clauses. All right, I've traded for these. All right, and I'm going to show you. I got a lot of them from draft picks and different things like that, you know, from when the super draft was starting. I didn't want to get rid of Nilsson, but they come in with this, and, you know, look at that, dude. I mean, I got 2 first-round draft picks. Yes, it's not this year, it's next year. I got 1 for this year. I got a 3rd-round pick, which I don't really care about, but some teams do. And then I got $950,000 in allocation money, which the reason I wanted so much was because I wanted this kid. I wanted this kid really bad, and I gave up, no, not this one, this kid, Tavon Gray. I wanted him really bad, and I gave up some of my allocation money, but I still made out. I gave him 2 first-round picks, but hey, I got 3, and I gave up my 3rd-round pick, which, hey, I got 1. So that's why I did that, and I still made out with extra allocation money and an extra first-round pick. So to me, it was a win-win. My board didn't like it, but I don't really care. All right, now, I didn't want to get rid of Escobar, but he wasn't going to get any better, and look at that. I mean, I did really well because I turned around and used that money to get a international slot here, and I got this one from 3 years, so it's really good. Now, you don't want to just have international player slots without having them full. That's kind of, you know, stupid to do. But you also have to keep in mind that these teams are going to use up their slots quickly, okay? I'm lucky that some of these teams still have slots available, all right? So I am actually going to try to buy 2 more because I have another kid that I want to sign, and he's going to take up a slot. All right, so keep that in mind. Now, let's get on to this registration. And we're going to talk through this. I always auto-select. All right, now boom. I'm all green up top. I'm way below my limit on my salary cap, which is good. But, oh, what's this? I have players that aren't registered. I don't know why. They never register this dude. All right, you just want to make sure that all the players, and this dude's never registered either. I don't know why. So the only ones that should be not registered are in purple, which is my loaned out players. But there's another one that you're thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to register him because I have 30 players already. No, remember I offered players senior contracts or supplemental contracts in the B team. Here they go. Just deselect them. They're not going to complain. They're in the B team. They're not going to get mad. They're not going to get waived by not registering them. I have 4 players in the B team with senior contracts. They're not going to get waived. All right. The B team doesn't count towards my registration. Just keep that in mind. All right, and that's the little trick on how you can get away with this. Now, one thing I wanted to say, if you get the message that it's going to say these players are going to get waived, then don't confirm it. You need to do something different. Now, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. All right, right here, it tells you these players are going to be waived if I do not register him. Well, yeah, I want to register him. That's why I went through all this trouble. Boom. Now, I'm at 29 players, so that means that I'll be able to bring one of my players up from the B team that I want to get some play time for in order to sell them, get more money out of them, and whatnot. I will be able to do that under this right here, 30 players. I could bring one more up. Now, the problem is I'm already at 10 off-budget players. That's all I'm allowed. That's your supplementary players, contract slots 21 through 30. All right, but the good news is I have a couple players going out on loan that take up, see, right here, Hernandez. I offered him out to North Carolina, so that will give me that slot that I want. Oh, cool, they want him on loan too. All right, so because of that, or was it Santana? Yeah, it was Santana, all right, but he's taken up a reserve contract spot. So that means I can bring one of them kids up, and then we're good to go. So I always try to keep it at 29, and with this at 9 or less, that way I can bring them kids up. All right, does that make sense? So anyhow, this is pretty much going to be my registered team. So I'm going to confirm. All right, now, right here, players who are not registered will be waived. I don't see any that are going to be waived, though, so we're good to go. Unless they are on a Generation Adidas or a designated player contract or suffer any type of injury. All right? This is not the final time I get to register my squad. Anytime I bring in a new player, I'm going to have to register them then. And if I can't, then that's when I run into trouble and they'll get waived. Okay? So you can sign as many players as you want. As long as you meet the criteria up here and you have the spaces for them. All right? So these two players, number one, if I like this kid here, he's my draft pick. If I can't get him out on loan or free up some space here to bring in them two transfers that I'm coming in at our international players, I'm going to send him down to the B team immediately. And just for now, that way I can go ahead and register them. Does that make sense? All right. I mean, it's once you get to hang and register in your team, it's really, really easy. It really, really is. All right. So we're going to go ahead and confirm. Boom. All right. Players removed, none. That's what you're looking for. I was in the salary cap range. I had everything else good. All right. Now all I have to worry about is trading to get 2 more slots for these kids, even though this kid here, when he comes in, he's going to go to my B team, or he's going to go to my academy, or I'm going to send him to North Carolina. All right. I'm not going to get rid of him. So here's the problem, though. If I don't have space in my squad when it wants me to register him, he will be waived. So I have to immediately send him to the B team, and then you're good to go. And then from there, I can work it around and do magic with my squad. Hopefully that makes sense to you. It's really not that complicated once you get the hang of it. But just keep in mind that it doesn't matter if you're over 30 players or not. Notice I didn't have to get rid of any of my players. And technically, you have to count these, and you have to count your B team that have senior contracts, because I have 4 of them with senior contracts. So that's, at least 34 players. I have 41 in total, and I registered my squad no problem without releasing anybody or waiving them. So hopefully that gives you a better understanding of different things. The main thing, remember, is affiliate clubs. You need to get one. Utilize your B team and your academy teams and your affiliate teams. Trade to get them international player slots. Usually some allocation money will do you wonders, and you'll be surprised how many you can get from them. If you can get 2 years on a player slot, go for it, all right? Because within them 2 years, a lot of these players that have international player slots or that are taking up a player slot are going to get a green card, especially the really good ones, all right? I can tell you right now that Berkey will probably get one within a year. All right, Adele, I know he will, because look at his stud. He will definitely get one. Lowen will get one. Popescu will get one. All right, so that takes away from the amount of player slots that you need. Another thing you can do is trade for permanent player slots. You're going to have to offer up 3 first-round picks at least and a lot of allocation money. But down the line in 2 or 3 years, you're going to see that I'm going to be doing that, because why not? I want permanent slots. That means I can have more youngsters from Europe come in, or from Argentina or Brazil, and that's a good thing. All right. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I've talked long enough. But if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Leave me a thumbs up if you enjoy what I do. And by all means, subscribe and get notifications going. Anyhow, thanks again, and have a good night.